Hi, my name is Michaela. I'm a mental health educator with Cmha Sudbury, Manitoulin. Have you experienced stigma before? Maybe you've witnessed it or experienced it personally, or maybe you don't know what it is. I'm going to share with you what it is and some ways that you can end stigma. So before talking about stigma, there are some key components to it. So to start off, there are stereotypes. So stereotypes are beliefs or thoughts that are generalized to a group of people. They're often negative and untrue. So, for example, people who have a mental illness are violent. This is a generalized saying towards all people with mental illnesses. That is also untrue. So next is prejudice, and this is when thoughts lead to a negative emotion. So for example, I'm scared of someone with a mental illness. Because I have this stereotype or belief that people with a mental illness are violent, I now have the emotion associated with it, which is scared. So through stereotypes and prejudices, we have discrimination. And this is when there's a change in behavior based on the beliefs, the negative beliefs and emotions. So for example, I don't want to live near someone with a mental illness because I think they're violent, which means I'm scared. So then there's a change in behavior, which is not living near them. So you can see how this can be really detrimental to people. And these are all called social stigmas. Social stigmas can eventually lead to SelfStigma. You're hearing this information outside all the time. Someone who's constantly receiving this sort of information might start to believe it themselves. So SelfStigma can look like internalizing stereotypes, so believing that they are violent or there's something wrong with them because they have a mental illness. Feeling rejected by society. Next is avoidance. Maybe it's avoiding jobs, encounters, friends, anything where they might feel stigmatized. Denial of their illness and the severity of it. And lastly is isolation. So not seeing people, and we know that this doesn't help a mental illness. It actually makes it much worse. So you can see how stereotypes, this seemingly unhurtful belief about a group of people, can easily turn into self-stigma and make people feel really terrible. So I wanted to share with you some ways that you can end stigma and things that you can start doing today to reduce stigma if you see it. Number 1 is know the facts. So educate yourself about mental illness, what you're doing right now. Understand what can bring them on, who's more likely to develop problems, and how to prevent or reduce the severity of problems. Number 2 is be aware of your own attitudes and beliefs. We've all grown up with prejudices and judgmental thinking, which can be passed on by family, friends, and the media. It's important to check your attitudes and behavior and understand what the truth is. Number 3 is choose your words carefully. This is probably my favorite tip. And it's using person-first language. So it sounds really simple, and it is. You're essentially putting the person before their illness. So instead of saying a schizophrenic, you're saying a person with schizophrenia. You're putting the person before the illness because the illness isn't the entire person. It's only a small part of who they are. Number 4, educate others. Share this video. Teach other people about mental illness. And pass on facts and positive attitudes. Challenge myths and stereotypes when you see them come up. This is a really challenging one, but know that it's a really important one as well. And lastly, number 6, support people. Treat people with dignity and respect. Try putting yourself in their situation. If you were sick or had a mental illness, how would you want to be treated? You probably wouldn't want to be labeled by a stereotype. If you have friends, family, coworkers who are living with a mental illness or substance use concern, tell them that you support them and you support their choices and are there for them no matter what. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that this video was helpful.